Well, first off, Michael, welcome to Western Wealth Communities. We're so happy to have you. I just wanted to ask you a few questions while I have you. Can you tell me your full name and your current role?
Sure. I am Michael Eisenberg, and I am the new regional vice president over Texas.
Wonderful. What has your journey in the industry been like?
My journey's been an interesting one. So I started leasing apartments 25, almost 26 years ago in Coral Springs, Florida. I was selling gym memberships one day, and I tried to sell a gym membership to the property manager that walked into the gym, and she said I was terrible at selling gym memberships, but I would probably be good at leasing apartments. And I lived across the street where the community was. And 26 years later, here I am now.
That's awesome. What are a few things that you love most about property management?
You know, property management is one of those things that um, it, it's a really unique industry. I love the fact that we are stewards for people's homes. We ask our residents in some cases to give us um, a third to over half of their monthly disposable income, and providing quality housing to people that sometimes don't have any other alternatives is a real rewarding experience. But more importantly, it's an opportunity to be in an industry where I have friends across the United States that I have made over 25, 26 years that I still run into. People I worked with 10, 15 years ago, I'll run into at a conference. And it's such a small um, family industry that we're all in it forever.
That's wonderful. I know you're passionate about mentorship and mentorship programs. What qualities do you feel like makes a good mentor?
I think you have to be caring and understanding. Um, Most importantly, you have to want to give of yourself. Um, I remember years ago, I had someone say something to me that maybe wasn't the most kind about my journey in this industry. And it made me really want to be the type of leader that people wanted to gravitate to, not because they had to, but because they want to. I think that our industry, you can start out as a leasing agent like I did and work your way up to any position you want. I recently was just introduced to a VP of asset management that started out as a porter. So anything you want to do in this industry, any role you want to have in property management can be achieved no matter where you sit in your journey of your career. And me helping people get to that next step in their journey is always really rewarding.
I love that. If someone was interested in pursuing your same career path, so if they were interested in, moving up to a regional manager position to, a director and so on and so forth, up all the way up to a regional vice president, what are some things or skills that you feel are important for them to foster or harness?
Communication is one. We all doing the hard tasks as opposed to taking the easy route. Um, I remember when I was a leasing agent and I wanted to be an assistant manager, I learned my assistant manager's role and what she did, and and really told her, "Let me do your job so I can get to that next level." And the same thing for every step in my career. Um, One of the things that we do in our industry that I think is really good is we do a really great job of training our on-site teams. I think where there's continuous room for improvement is when you get to that level of a regional manager and above. Um, you we all think at when we're a property manager, we all think that we know what our property manager does for a living or what our regional manager does for a living. I had no clue. Um, I will say if you're a property manager and you want to be a regional manager, um, full knowledge and understanding of the financials is the most important thing that you can dive into. Sit with your regional manager and ask him or her to show you what they look at versus what you look at. Understand um, mortgage, taxes, insurance, all those things below the NOI line that you may not focus on as a property manager, but your regional, your VP, or your RVP, your VP focus on very, very intently. Um, really seek to understand um, how we spend capital money and what capital money, all those fund categories below the line, what they mean and what they do, because they have a dramatic impact on the cash flow of your property. And I didn't know that when I was an on-site property manager. Ask your regional manager if they're willing to let you shadow them for a couple of days. One of the things I really like to do with my regionals, um, I try to do it once a quarter, sometimes twice a year, is spend a week in my shoes where I'll go do their job and they can come and understand what I do. And I find that really beneficial.
That is really great insight. So you've had a long, rich history in multifamily. I'm interested to know, do you have any professional aspirations for your future?
Yeah, I think it's important to always want to always have a goal. I'm goal driven. I'm always looking for um, continuing education. I'm currently a CPM candidate at IRM, looking for my CPM certification. Uh, Almost done with that. That's a hard path. So it takes a lot of dedication. But growing in an organization like Western Wealth, there's so many opportunities afforded to me at here, and as we grow, I know I will continue to grow. So even though I've been doing this for a very long time, there's still a path forward for me to something to work towards.
Okay, now that we have a picture of your professional journey, I'd like to delve into your life out of the office, if that's okay.
Sure.
I understand travel is one of your favorite hobbies. What are your favorite places that you've visited so far?
So I have a lot of favorites, but I've been all over Europe. I am not a warm type of beachy guy. So I like cold vacations in November in Europe when it's raining and it's gloomy. I love that. There's nothing more than I like, you know, being in the hills of Scotland in the middle of November. But my favorite city in the world is London, um, England in general, and uh, it follows through to every bit of my personality and lifestyle and my dogs and um, anything anything about England.
Wonderful. You mentioned your dogs. I know you're a huge animal lover. Tell me about your fur babies.
So I have three dogs at home. They are Shetland sheepdogs, Shelties. They are Lassie, but the mini version. They come from the Shetland Islands in a very remote part of Great Britain. I have London, Bristol, and Brighton, which there's a theme in my house. All of my dogs are named after cities in England.
I love that. Have you always lived in Texas? And is your favorite thing about the Lone Star State?
No, I was originally born in Toronto, Canada, and moved to the States when I was 14. Being in this industry, so I went to high school and college in Texas, and then moved to Florida after college and started in this industry, and it's moved me all over the United States. I've lived on the East Coast, the West Coast, north, south. I've run real estate in probably 32 different states. So I've been all over. Certainly, Texas is great. Um, Dallas, in particular, is a really good cultural melting pot. A lot of great places to eat. Um, but everybody loves the State Fair of Texas, and go have a corn dog and see Big Tex.
Love it. What is your favorite show, movie, or book, or something that you're currently watching and really loving?
So any English crime drama, anything on BritBox, I love. There are a lot of great things, but there's a really great series called Endeavor that's been on for years. And if you ever have a chance to get on BritBox, watch Endeavor, you'll watch one episode and you'll be hooked.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Do you have any unique talents or skills?
That is a good question. Um, I think it's not a talent, but managing three very long haired dogs, and I've become a pretty good groomer of my dogs over the years.
Wow,
So that's about my unique talent.
that's definitely a skill set for sure. If you weren't a regional vice president, what do you think you'd be doing, or what would you do in an alternate life?
I always wanted to be a lawyer, so I'd be a criminal litigator. I'd be in court. I'd be arguing.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Michael. We're so excited to have you at Western Wealth Communities. Is there anything else that you'd like to share or say to our Orange Army?
I wanted to say thank you for having me as part of the Orange Army. I can tell you that I there's a funny story that I applied for this job well over a year ago, and Jennifer interviewed me. It was right in the middle of COVID, and she told me that if there were two positions available, I would have started that day, but my time will come. So I guess my final parting words are good things come to those who wait, because this may not be the only job I've had in the industry, but it's definitely going to be the last job I have in the industry. Orange Army for life.